So now we're going to shift gears and move to a different project. The next presenter is Ellie Damaskopoulou, who is a PhD candidate in the genetics lab at the Agricultural University of Athens. And her PhD revolves around the epigenetic inheritance of abuse in children. It is more interesting. It sounds very interesting, but the project is much more interesting as we can see, as Ellie will explain, that there is more than meets the eye, and that abuse can be passed on to the next generation through methylation and epigenetics. So, Ellie, the stage is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. One moment, please, so I can share my screen. There we are. My name is Ellie Damaskopoulou. I am actually my first degree is a nursing degree, basic nursing, and my master is also on master degree pediatric nursing. And I have also a specialty in master in nursing, pediatric nursing. I work for the last 12 years in a childcare institution nearby Athens, and we take their care of children of the group, the age group of 1 month old to 6 years old. These children are taken away from their families because they have been in some way abused or neglected. So usually the attorney just takes the children away so they can protect them and we keep them safe. They stay with us until they can go to a foster family, and that's mostly it's a very long time to be like that, because the legal situation and the courts in Greece are not very fast, so they can stay with us in the institution till they become, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years. Sorry, because we want to see that genetics, because every person in the world is unique. Today we know that there is a genetic diversity, and the characteristics and the organisms are controlled by genes and chromosomes, with a combination of chromosomes in the offspring being random. So genetic diversity is heritable, although the combination is random, and that's known from 1,000 years before Christ, when selective processes of animals and plants have been found. But since then, absolutely, there have been branches of genetics that studies heredity, the molecular nature of genetic material, the ways in which genes control life functions, and the distribution and behavior of genes in populations. The human genome is a complete set of nucleic acid sequences for humans, encoded in DNA within 23 chromosome pairs. And we also know that in genetic heredity is the transfer of certain traits from parents to offspring. Every person has 2 copies of a human genome, one inherited from a father and the other from our mother. Before the parent passes down the genome to a child, the parent's 2 copies of a genome cross over and recombine with each other in a random process. One of these copies is randomly chosen and passed to the child. So it turns out that genetics is a study of heredity and the variation of inherited inherited characteristics. But on the basis of genetics, on the science of genetics, and especially in terms of heredity, in recent years, epigenetics came and showed up. In that time, epigenetic refers to changes that affect the activity of the genes, as well as its expression. So the inheritance changes in the phenotype, but at the same time, they do not change the DNA sequence. The most common epigenetic mechanism is DNA methylation, in which a methyl group is added usually to the fifth carbon of the cytosine ring of the DNA, modifying with that way the function of the gene and consequently its expression. DNA methylation patterns are highly conserved across cell divisions and are therefore highly heritable. So now we're going to go back to our little friends, to the children, and to see a little bit what child abuse, what we call child abuse or child maltreatment. It refers to any form of ill treatment of a minor under the age of 18, of a physical and emotional nature, sexual abuse, neglect, and negligent conduct, and exposure to danger. It has been shown that most of the situations, and it's especially by a parent or a caregiver. Child abuse is, we have four basic and official types of abuse, which is sexual, psychological, physical, and neglect. Where neglect is a kind of abuse where the one who is responsible to care for someone who's not able to care for himself, unable, fails to do so. So we have children who had all these types of abuse by my work. I will just give you some examples from the children we are going to study. It's sadly very interesting, because we used to have, actually we have it, but a baby girl who was found dumped in the garbage bin when she was 20 days old. We assume that her parents abandoned her because she was almost blind. We still don't know who her parents are. We still don't know what her name is or where she came from. And that's really interesting, but sad. We have also two siblings who came older, were 3.5 and 6 years old, and they were so neglected in such a way that they didn't even know what the toilet was. So it was the first day we were really surprised to watch these kids be everywhere they were standing, in the house or outside or everywhere. But they still knew how to steal. So they came directly to our purses and started looking for money, I think, or I guess, or anything they wanted. Another kid who's 2.5 years old and didn't know how to walk or how to eat because he grew up in a chair, in a baby chair. I don't know why, but his mother was mentally low. Her mental level was low, but her father was a priest. Is a priest actually, and they come to visit the children, but the child, actually their siblings also. The other is a baby, so they come to visit them, but I don't think they are gonna have any opportunity to take them back. Another one who's also really scary as a her situation is she's 4 years old, and she watched her grandfather kill her father in front of her eyes and her mother's eyes, and she stopped talking and she stopped communicating. She ate, but she didn't want to talk for almost 2 years, and she's also that's also one psychological abuse which we're gonna study, because her mother comes to see her, visit her. She loves her, but she can't handle. She's too poor to raise the kid, and they won't give her back. And we have many other cases like that which come to us, and we hope that there is a foster family someday for them so they can live. Although the latest number for 2019 show a decrease in the number of abused children, they still remain very high, with 650,000 cases in a survey of 3.5 million children. So it's really a huge number to be neglected or abused. And these numbers are taking us to the question, do early experiences influence gene activity? Because if that's really like that, these children have many children, hundreds of thousands of children in the whole world have influences from their childhood, so from the early childhood. The answer is yes, actually, and that's what we're going to try to prove in a way. And the way we're going to do that is collect DNA. We are now in the process to start collecting DNA from saliva from these children, and then analyze it with Chrousos study to check both with or without common trait across the genome, using genome-wide SNPs arrays, and also make their methylation profiles. And that's what we're going to do. There is a lot of work still, and we're really looking forward to have the results ready, and we'll let you know. Thank you very much to the group, of course, the DNA group, and Dr. Dimitrios Vlachakis for the opportunity and for the help.
Thank you, Ellie. Perfect.
If you
Thank you
have
very
any
much.
questions, please.
Yes, if you have any questions, please do your best to make Ellie feel as uncomfortable as possible.
Please do.
No? Okay. So, thank you, Ellie.